That's a bit of Hold Me, a new song by the Strumbellas from their upcoming album, Part-Time Believer. This will be the 5th studio album for the 2-time Juno Award-winning group. The band worked on the album through the pandemic, whittling down 50 songs to just 12 tracks. The Strumbellas will also be kicking off their tour starting next week. And Jimmy, David, John, Isabel, and Daryl, the Strumbellas, join me now in studio. So it's pretty tight here, guys, right now. I think it's as tight as the couch has been. But welcome to the studio. Thanks for coming on Canada Tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And Jimmy, I know that you are the new arrival, kind of, sort of, because these guys have been together for 14 years. But you came along in 2022. Tell me a little bit about that story. And also, I know that there's, like, the larger story involves Craigslist, sliding into DMs, and Lindsay, Ontario.
Similar sort of process with me. I got my DMs were slid into, and it was if I'd like to audition for the band, and yeah, it was a smooth process that couldn't have gone better, and just instantaneously fell in love with this crew, and just kind of grew from there, and it's been magic ever since.
Dave, talk to me a bit about the magic of this group coming together and then integrating Jimmy into a family that you really already had.
Yeah, I think the energy is like a little bit undeniable. I think it's surprising to me sometimes that we all still kind of like each other after all these years. But it was really easy for Jimmy's such a positive guy. He has such great vibes. It was, I think, easy for him to work his way, and we genuinely like playing music together, which I think again is weird after all these years. But so he fit in great.
And I know that I said in the intro that you worked on this new album through the pandemic. Isabel, talk to me a bit about what that was like, and if you were kind of on Zoom calls, and how you create an album amid a pandemic.
Totally. We had to shift the way we were working. We were spread out throughout the city and throughout different places in Ontario, and we were emailing demos back and forth. We were on Zoom. We started a weekly band Zoom call that we still have, or a daily band Zoom call we still do every day to this day. So we just sort of learned to work around the restrictions, around the different periods of time.
And take our opportunities too, right? Like we'd hear like, oh, this producer that we want to work with is crossing the border. We got to get in soon. He's already coming. That's the hard part's done. You know?
What about rehearsals, though? Was it tough?
I mean, there's not much you can do like at that time. So it's more just like song creation, and like so there was one of the upsides of being a band during the pandemic was just having lots of time, right? So like you had all the time to kind of sit there on a Zoom, or like we had this little tiny studio on the west end of Toronto. We just kind of like pile in there, work on tunes. Like there wasn't quite a need to rehearse, so like you just had lots of time just to like work on songs.
And talk to me a bit about the new album, because I know that it drops on February 9th, and that's also the day that you're headed out on a North American tour.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting because we haven't played a lot of these songs live, so it's like terrifying on one aspect, but like so exciting to get new material out and learn it and just be, just see what kind of engagement you get from the fans, because that's kind of like what you live off of, as a band, is like, how are they going to react to these songs live when they fully hear the record? And it's the day it comes out, we're on the road, so that's super cool.
Yeah, there's been a lot of anticipation building. What do you think the fans can expect? Why don't you give them a little preview?
We think it's going to be everything you've come to expect from a Strumbellas show. Lots of high energy. It's like a little bit of hijinks, I think, maybe. So we're all going to be singing. We hope the audience is all going to be singing. And as Daryl says, some new songs, new sounds. So yeah, we think it's going to be a nice mix.
Is it tough when you guys are out on the road? I mean, I guess every band gets this, right? Like, because like everybody's in close quarters, you're together all the time. How long's the tour?
2 weeks in Canada, more or less,
yeah.
And then like almost 5 weeks in the States.
Okay, so States, you're going to be together a little bit longer, right? But
I mean, we're used to being in close quarters, like
No, I have.
people on this couch ever, but it's just this a lot of the time, like hanging out. But like really, you will like sometimes kind of be like, I need a day. Like you're just like on the road. You're like, I just like need some me time. I'm gonna go to a coffee shop. Politely, no one come with me. You got to respect that, like, because people sometimes just like want
absolutely
their space.
You guys are starting in Vancouver, and is this cross country before you head to the States?
Yeah, we fly out to Vancouver. We're based here in Toronto, and then we sort of make our way back. So head in a lot of places along the way, and then ending in Toronto at the end of the tour.
Nice. And you're here in Toronto for NHL weekend. Talk to me a little bit about why you wanted to be here. It's a huge weekend in town.
Well, I'm a huge hockey fan. Like I played growing up. I play in the Juno Cup every year at the Junos, which is not every year. I guess the odd time I miss it. But there's an energy around the All-Star game, the talent, all the different players. So to be part of it as a musician, growing up around hockey is like, this is kind of like, the mecca for hockey.
Yeah, I mentioned at the top, Jimmy, you are new, but Simon Ward, who is your previous lead singer, he's actually still with the group, but kind of behind the scenes. Tell me a little bit about that. He's still in the family.
Yeah, Sai's written on the record. Like his melodies and ideas are all over the record, and it was just like we feel very fortunate that we were able to add Jimmy to the mix and have a very positive have a positive impact within the group and with Simon in taking a different role. It's been really an amazing sort of growth period for the band and just positive all around.
Nice. So there's a music video right now, but are there going to be more music videos that we can look forward to in the coming weeks and months?
I believe it's on the 9th. We've got one coming out, and yeah, it's going to be the lead track off of the record, which is going to be "Steal My Soul." Am I allowed to say that? So we got one for that, and yeah, it's just exciting. Like, just going to try and work some more stuff with the tour videos and stuff like that as well too. There's a lot of stuff in the works.
What's been the most enjoyable part for you? Coming on to this team that already existed? I know it's been a while.
It's just been incredible. We kind of, it happened very fast. Like the audition process took like a longer sort of stretch, but then it was like from like those auditions into practices, into writing, into playing gigs, and just being back live again with the energy of people. We were kind of thrown together, and it just built our chemistry so fast with everything that we didn't have a choice, and it was just like amazing.
But Jimmy, which band member is your favorite?
And I think too, like when we started playing live, I think we headlined Winnipeg Folk Fest as like one of your first shows. So it was like, hey Jimmy, here, like we'll see how you can, react under the pressure. And it was like,
it's a big deal in Winnipeg.
Oh yeah, it's huge.
Very serious.
Yeah, and Jimmy, like in front of 20,000 people, just like nailed it. So it was like we knew we made a good choice.
Yeah, there's something special about being live. Tell me, Dave, what it is about that kind of energy that you don't necessarily get when you're just in the studio, right?
Yeah, well, this is an increasingly like screen-mediated world that we live in, and we're talking to each other through Zooms, and I'm on Netflix by myself because I have no friends. And but to be live in the same room with people and experiencing, thank you, and experiencing the music together is really the best thing, and it's very special. We feel very honored that people want to come and share that with us.